And welcome into Fenway Park tonight as the New York Yankees are here on what is a chilly night. And the wind is just peltering from left to right across the outfield here at Fenway Park tonight, as the conditions are a little bit cooler than you may expect for this May the 30th. But the two teams ready to finish off the two-game series, and there exemplifies the wind that we'll be dealing with here tonight between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Time now to take a look at the starting lineup for the Yankees. Chuck Knobloch will lead it off. He'll be in left field. Derek Jeter bats second at shortstop. David Justice is the designated hitter. Bernie Williams will be in center field batting fourth. Tino Martinez at first base bats fifth. Paul O'Neill has dropped down to the sixth spot. He's done well against the Red Sox. 4 home runs against them so far. Jorge Posada does the catching. He bats seventh. Scott Brocious is at third base. He will bat eighth. Alfonso Soriano is at second base. And the starting lineup's brought to you by Liberty Mutual.
And the defense tonight for the Red Sox, they're sixth in the league, 34 errors in 49 games. Shea Hillenbrand will be at third base. John Valentin, the shortstop. Jose Offerman at second, and Brian Daubach at first. Left to right, Troy O'Leary, Kyle Everett, and Trot Nixon. Jason Veritek behind the plate, and on the mound, Pedro Martinez. 6-1 for Pedro with the 1.60 ERA. That's the best in the league. Chris Mahalik is second at 2.73. Pedro also leads in strikeouts with 108. Barry Zito is second in that category with 73. Because Pedro lost his last outing in that great matchup at Yankee Stadium against Mike Mussina. Pedro 8 innings in that ball game, 6 hits, a couple of earned runs, 3 walks, and 12 strikeouts. The Red Sox lost it 2-1.
Home plate umpire Mike Winter is out on the mound talking to Pedro. He'll be in behind the dish tonight. Ted Barrett at first, Alfonso Marquez at second base, and Steve Ripley will be the umpire at third base.
Take a look at tonight's game notes brought to you by Sullivan Tile. The Red Sox 298 home batting average. That's the best in the American League. Kyle Everett almost 400 at home. The Yankees out home of the Red Sox 15-4 this season. And the Sox lineup career versus Mussina, a 207 batting average with 5 home runs. So he has always been tough on Red Sox teams.
Looked as if the home plate umpire was out to talk to Pedro about blowing on the hands tonight. It may be permitted with the conditions here this evening. As the two talk very briefly, and now Mike Winters back in behind the plate. Pedro's ready. Knobloch's in, and the first pitch of the ball game is up and in, ball one. A 7:07 start time here tonight at Fenway Park. A 20-mile-per-hour wind along with us this evening. As Knobloch goes the opposite way to right, sending Nixon back. Wind playing with it, but trying to make the catch back on the dirt of the track. It was an adventure, but Nixon stuck with it, and there's one down.
Well, that's certainly going to be the problem field tonight, is that wind really blowing hard out toward the bullpen area. This ball not hit all that well at all by Knobloch, but the wind helping it out, and Nixon really had to scuffle back to the warning track to make the catch. He's fighting the wind and the sun here early in the ball game.
So a nice play by Nixon. Knobloch is retired. And it brings up Derek Jeter. Jeter at 320 with 4 homers and 25 runs batted in. As he takes a pitch high. When I got here today, early afternoon, Derek Jeter was out taking ground balls for a very long time today. Out on the field, he's the only one out there for the Yankees. Grounded right back to Pedro. Snares it on the backhand. The easy toss. And there's 2 down.
Fastball from Pedro, a sinking fastball, and the ground ball right back to the mound. Pedro to the backhand. Little slip over to first base, but still, Daubach able to make the play.
David Justice.
David Justice stands in on the left side. He has taken over in the 3 spot for Paul O'Neill, who has been there for the last couple of years. And O'Neill now being dropped down to the number 6 spot in the Yankees order. It has boded well for Paul O'Neill and for David Justice. He takes strike 1 from Pedro.
Well, they made that move on Monday. Justice 0 for 5 in the 3 spot, and O'Neill 2 for 5 in the 6 spot.
Justice had been very hot prior to that, so number 3 spot has not been a favorable spot so far. As pitch in there for a strike to Justice. DH who came over to the Yankees a year ago. Now the 0-2 pitch to Justice. This is off the outside edge, framed by Varitek, but not biting was Mike Winters. Pedro going head-to-head with Mike Mussina and the Yankees for the second time here in a week. His 1-2 pitch to Justice. He struck him out. First strikeout for Martinez. 1, 2, 3 go the Yankees in the top of the first. Red Sox coming up. Back at Fenway, the Yankees went 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first. Red Sox coming to the plate in the bottom of the first. The starting lineup for the Red Sox brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Jose Offerman leads it off. He'll be at second base. Trot Nixon out in right field, bats second. Everett back in center in the 3 spot. Manny Ramirez, the designated hitter, bats fourth. Troy O'Leary will be in left, batting fifth. Shea Hillenbrand at third base, bats sixth. Brian Daubach, first base, batting seventh. John Valentin at shortstop, eighth. And the switch hitting catcher Jason Varitek bats ninth.
The Yankees have had some problems defensively. They're 12th in the league with 39 errors in 50 games. Scott Brocious with 10 errors at third base. Derek Jeter, the shortstop. Alfonso Soriano at second. And Tino Martinez at first. In the outfield, Chuck Knobloch, Bernie Williams, and Paul O'Neill. Jorge Posada behind the plate. And on the mound, right-hander Mike Mussina. Start number 11. He is 5-4, 3.44 ERA, is 10th best in the American League. And so far this year against the Red Sox, 1-2. He had back-to-back losses back in April, one here at Fenway, one at the stadium. But that great outing last time out against Pedro in New York, 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 12 strikeouts.
And Jimmy Williams looking to gain a split in this series. Joe Torre hoping to sweep the series. The Red Sox a game and a half back at the Yankees heading into tonight's action. Jose Offerman leads it off. And takes a look at ball one. Offerman under 300 at 292 with the 4 homers and 16 runs driven in. Swinging and missing, evens it up at 1-1.
So far this year, left-handers have only hit 206 off Mussina. Right-handers 315.
Offerman takes a look at his strike. It has been the tale of 2 different months so far for Mussina. April was not very good for him in his first with the Yankees. 1-3 with a 4.78 earned run average. May has been markedly better. 4-1 with a 2.25 earned run average, and has really turned it around quite quickly. Fouled into the Yankee dugout. We've got a piece of somebody down there.
Nice to see that Zim's been able to stay in the game so far here in Boston. He got thrown out in that game in Cleveland over the weekend.
He gets pretty hot.
Yeah, Al Clark.
Offerman went after it. The home plate umpire Mike Winters rings him up, much to his chagrin, and take with him the first strikeout from Mike Mussina, 1 down.
The knuckle curve from Mussina to pick up his first strikeout. As we mentioned, 12 in that last outing. And in the league now 63, which is good for 6th place in the American League. Tied with Hideo Nomo at 63.
Mussina will now go after Trot Nixon, who is in right field tonight. Red Sox featuring a lot of their lefties as they go after the right-hander Mussina. Daubach in the lineup tonight as Nixon hits it on the ground outside of first. Mike Mussina has dealt his first loss ever in a Yankees uniform here at Fenway Park, Patriots Day, and a 4-1 loss to the Red Sox. Mussina, 32 years of age. Former first-round pick by the Baltimore Orioles back in 1990 out of Stanford. Going to Stanford is one thing, but when you can do it in 3.5 years, that's another thing altogether. He did it with a degree in economics. And signed with the Yankees as a free agent, a 6-year deal. It'll take him through 2006 as a member of the Yankees as Nixon takes strike 2. Last year 11-15 with a 3.79 earned run average, his first losing season since 1991, but he received the lowest run support in the league last year. 3.71 runs in 9 innings a game as Nixon fouls it back. So that led to his 11-15 record. It was not terribly indicative of the way he actually pitched last year.
This is the 4th time this year already the Red Sox have faced him. We talked about the last game, how he was so outstanding against Pedro. 4 innings in the game before that. He was sick that day at Yankee Stadium.
Pedro and Mussina would be matched up again perhaps on Monday, but Joe Torre saying before the ball game that he's not entirely sure he'll go at the matchup yet again. A lot of it would rely on the pitch count and some of the things that may take place tonight, but Pedro may see someone else in that makeup game on Monday. It would be a wait and see type situation from the Yankees standpoint, as that's grounded foul. There's that makeup game that was the rainout at Yankee Stadium last week. It'll be made up on Monday, and it'll be right here on Nesson. Two and 2 to Nixon. On the outside corner for strike 3. Back-to-back case from Mussina to open up his outing.
Well, if this is any indication, looks like the same type of stuff that Mussina had at Yankee Stadium last week. You see the knuckle curveball again. Picking up the outside corner. Nasty pitch. So back-to-back strikeouts on the knuckle curve. Actually, Pedro and Mussina throw their curveballs just about the same way.
Two down. It's Carl Everett's turn. 301 batting average for Carl heading into tonight's action. He slaps that foul off the left side. Carl tonight opting to bat from the left side against the right-hander. And Everett batting from the left side this season, hitting at .326. Far better than his .250 batting average from the other side.
Had a tough time in that last outing against Mussina. Mussina got him 4 times to strike out. And a lot of times on pitches just like that, fastballs up above the belt.
Ball's in the hole quickly here, 0-2. And pitchers are allowed to blow into their hands tonight atop the hill. Outside, 1-2 now to Everett. Everett with a 4-game hitting streak heading into tonight's action. And those 4 games coming after that last outing against Mussina, which he did strike out 4 times. And he has hit safely in the last 4 and would like to continue it tonight against Mussina. Now the 2-2 to Everett. Struck him out again. Carl down by way of the K, and Mussina strikes out the side in the bottom of the first. Done with 1, no score from Fenway.
Back at Fenway, no score as we move to the top of the second. Let's take a look at the batting leaders in the American League, brought to you by New England Ford dealers. Ramirez still on top at .383. Mankiewicz at .361. Ichiro .358. Giambi and Olerud, the top 5 hitters in the American League.
Top of the second inning, and Bernie Williams leads it off as he takes it inside, ball 1. The Yankees went 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Williams at .237 with his 6 homers and 20 runs driven in. He was 3 for 5 with a stolen base here on Monday, game 1 of the series. It's Bender for a strike. 1-1.
.212 batting average for Bernie against Pedro, but he does have 2 career home runs, and of course the most recent in that last game at Yankee Stadium.
And a swing and a miss.
First changeup of the night from Pedro, and a good one.
You see the career numbers against Pedro Martinez. Pedro struck out David Justice to end the first inning. Love to open the second with a K at Bernie Williams. No time called. Pedro was about to go into the line. This feels like maybe earlier mid-April game here tonight on this May the 30th as Williams lashes it foul off the left side. And it's got that type feel tonight, as you can see. A lot of the players wearing a lot of their warm gear, digging it out.
Summer will be here soon, fellas. I don't know exactly when, but soon.
Something if Toronto was actually warmer, the next destination for the Red Sox. After the ball game tonight, they'll be headed to the Sky Dome.
Is that Bob Tomaselli down there?
All wrapped up.
With the wind hitting him right in the face, too.
The 2-2 to Williams is outside. 3-2. Pedro threw just 8 pitches in the first inning. He's thrown 6 already here to Bernie Williams to open up the second inning. Grounded down the line, but foul outside of first. The matchup this year between the Red Sox and Yankees, of course, a long one this season in terms of the meetings. 19 altogether. So far, the two clubs have been very, very close in terms of games. A 6-1 run game so far in the matchup. The Yankees have won 4 of those. As Pedro walks Bernie Williams to open up the second inning. The first walk rented by Pedro and the first base runner for the Yankees. Don't forget to hit the net at NESN.com to ask Jerry Remy questions and to vote for the player of the game. Every time you ask Jerry a question, you'll automatically be entered to win a trip to next year's Red Sox spring training in Fort Myers, Florida. So hit the net at NESN.com. Ryan Daubach holds on Bernie Williams. He with 5 stolen bases and 6 attempts on the year. And the first pitch strike to Tino Martinez, who checks in at .289 with 7 homers and 36 runs driven in.
Had a bit of a scuffle recently for Tino. 5 for his last 32.
Was 1 for 5 with a couple of RBIs in Monday's game for the Yankees, part of their victory over the Red Sox on Monday night. And currently on the road trip, he's just 3 for his last 17. The Yankees going to Cleveland before coming here. And after leaving here, will host the Cleveland Indians at Yankee Stadium. On the ground towards shortstop. Valentin would like to initiate it. On to first in the dirt. Daubach digs it out and they turn it. 6-4-3 twin killing, 2 down.
Looked like a little bit of a juggle at second base by Offerman, but then finally did get it to first base on time. A little trouble with the transfer from the glove to the throwing hand, and Daubach had to help him out at first on that backhanded pick. Underhand flip from Valentin. Offerman straddling the bag. Looked like he had a hard time getting a grip on the baseball, and Daubach there to make the play at first base. Daubach has played some outstanding defense at first in this series, and actually I should say this whole homestand.
2 down in the second inning. Paul O'Neill stands in. Lines it into center field, and the Yankees have their first hit of the night.
Well, O'Neill had a big hit against Pedro, actually the game-winning hit on a changeup to the opposite field at Yankee Stadium. This time he gets the curveball from Pedro and right back up the middle. So 3 hits for O'Neill since being put in that 6th spot in the batting order. 2 for 5 Monday, 1 for 1 here tonight.
And the home run the other night, just the 2nd of the month for Paul O'Neill after an 8-home run April, which established a personal career high for O'Neill to begin the year. He's on at first with 2 down as Jorge Posada, the catcher, at 273 with 8 homers and 34 runs batted in.
You can't forget about O'Neill at first base. You don't think of him as a stealer, but 6 steals this season, been caught 1 time. The Yankees, of course, lead the majors in stolen bases. As a team, they have 59.
Pedro from the stretch. And a swing and a miss from Posada. Well, the Yankees with 59 stolen bases in their first 50 games of the year. They are, as Jerry mentioned, first in the major leagues in that category. The Padres are second with 52 stolen bases. O'Neill widens his lead a tad at first. In there for a strike on the inside corner. Posada looks back at Winters, but he's in the hole, nothing in 2. O'Neill with the lead as Pedro stares into Veritek. Now the 0-2 pitch. Off the outside corner.
That's one Pedro wanted. He had a step toward that Red Sox dugout. Maybe called for being too low.
Now the 1-2. Fouled straight back to the backstop. Jorge Posada has seen a lot of action so far for the Yankees on the year. Really the first time last year being their everyday catcher, and plays in his 47th game for the Yankees of a possible 50. And has the .273 batting average coming into tonight's action. He'll do the 1-2 once again. He gets just a piece to hang tough.
Well, after an easy first inning pitch-wise, a few more this inning for Pedro. Bernie Williams made him throw him a lot of pitches. And eventually ended up with the walk. Got a quick out on Martinez. First pitch hit base hit for O'Neill, and now Posada making him work hard.
17 pitches thrown by Pedro Martinez this inning after 8 in the first. But he has had to work a lot harder in this inning than he did in the first. The 1-2 once again to Posada. Flared off the left side. That'll reach the seats down the left field line. Yankees have won 3 in a row as they head into tonight's action. A 29-21 record, and again a game and a half better than the Red Sox as Posada gets yet another piece and hangs tough.
Now that was the strikeout pitch. The fastball up and in. Posada just got a piece of it, and it bounced out of the glove of Veritek.
Again, Posada fouls it back. A 20-pitch inning for Pedro Martinez with 2 outs here in the second inning. That's one thing the Yankees would probably like, is that if Pedro's pitch count would get high early on and maybe get him out of the ball game as soon as possible. He finally gets Posada. Strikeout number 2 for Pedro Martinez, and the Yankees are gone in the second. They leave a man, done with an inning and a half. No score from Fenway.
Back at Fenway, no score as we move to the bottom of the second. Well, attention young baseball fans. The Bo Sox Club, the official Red Sox booster organization, will sponsor 15 youngsters to attend former Red Sox second baseman Mike Andrews' baseball camp for the week of July 9th. To enter, write a letter explaining why you would like to attend the camp and send it to the Bo Sox Baseball Camp Contest, 4 Yorkie Way, Boston, Mass. 02215, or email to campership@bosoxclub.org. Letters must be received by June 18th.
Manny Ramirez leads it off. The birthday boy. He's 29 years of age today, celebrating his birthday, toting the .383 batting average. And there are some birthday signs here tonight for Manny. Ramirez, who is old for his last 8, 1 for his last 11, is in perhaps the first funk of the season for Manny. Lays off and takes strike 1, 1-1. He's held hitless for the 3rd time in his last 5 games on Monday, game 1 of this series. And furthermore, he has failed to record an RBI in 5 consecutive games, the first time that has occurred in all of 2001. The 1-1. Up and in, 2-1.
During this past streak, he's hit a couple of balls hard right at somebody. Hit a line drive hard right at Soriano in game 1 of this series.
Ramirez will be followed by O'Leary and Hillenbrand here in the bottom of the second. This is chopped off the glove of Brocious, whose defensive woes continue. And reaching at first base would be Ramirez. Been a tough year for Scott Brocious at third base defensively.
Now, Brocious, gold glove type third baseman, you had it right. He's having a tough time so far this season. If this is recorded as an error, then it will be his 11th of the season. Jeter has 8 at shortstop and Soriano 5 at second. And it is an error on Scott Brocious.
So Ramirez reaching first. Nobody outs. Roy O'Leary was hit safely in his last 5 contests. Stands in at 242. A check swing, and he was able to hold back. 3 homers and 16 RBIs to go along with the 242 batting average. The last 5 games, he's 6 for 19. Hitting at a .316 clip. .218 against Mussina in his career. Outfield plays him straight away as that wind continues to blow hard across the outfield from left to right. Posada able to knock it down and kicks it ahead, but Manny not going anywhere at first base.
Actually, the guy in the lineup that's had the most success against Mussina, Shea Hillenbrand, 4 for 8 in his young career with 1 home run off Mussina. Daubach 294, Valentin 240.
Shea continuing to play in every game so far this year in his first season in the major leagues. Very high, brought Posada out of his crouch, and it's 3-1. I mentioned the problems that Mussina had in April. Of course, the cold weather in April. Tonight, all that warm here at Fenway Park, and 4-1 in May. Line to left center field. Williams heading back towards the track, looking up. It is up off the wall. Ramirez Ramirez is headed for third base. He'll be stopped there. Cruising into second base with a double is Troy O'Leary.
O'Leary picks up his 5th double of the season. This ball really hit hard by Troy because that's into a crosswind and still had enough to get up off that center field wall. Bernie Williams, who plays very shallow, had no chance to get back and make a play on it. And with nobody out, they're going to hold Ramirez at third base. So second and third now with nobody out.
Shea Hillenbrand at .294 so far in the season. He's been in there every day, in there again tonight as he stands in on the right side. First base is vacant. Hillenbrand takes hard stuff inside and high.
Unusual defense for the Yankees. They have the right side of the infield pulled in, but the left side, the pull side, is playing back. You can see Jeter back here, and the infield is going to be in on the right side.
The 1-0 to Hillenbrand is popped up off the first, foul ground. Martinez is calling, and he'll make the catch for the inning's first out. So Hillenbrand out after that second offering from Mussina, and he fouls out.
Well, again, feeling that the young hitter is going to be impatient, Mussina goes to the changeup to get the pop up.
Number 23, the first baseman.
So a big out. First out of the inning for Mussina. Now with the left-hander coming up, they'll move the infield back on the right side. So everybody back now with the exception of Brocious at third base.
Brian Daubach in there, the lefty against the right-handed pitching Mike Mussina tonight. In the air to right center field. O'Neill is headed back. Onto the track, front of the wall. It's up and off the front of the wall into the bullpen. A double that will score Ramirez. O'Leary will come around, and the ground rule double leads to 2. Boston runs. Red Sox lead it 2-0.
Well, Daubach now has 30 hits on the season. 18 have been for extra bases. He picks up his 9th double and gives the Red Sox a 2-0 lead, and he gets it at a Mussina curveball, too. That one stayed about thigh high, and I thought once it got up that high, the wind was going to push it into the bullpen. They had to bounce in front and up into the Red Sox bullpen for the ground rule double.
So Daubach with RBIs 21 and 22 as Valentin goes deep to center. Williams will head back. Wynn knocks it down, and tagging up from second and heading to third will go Daubach on the long fly out to center by John Valentin. 2 down.
Straight away center field for Valentin. It's going to push Williams back deep enough where Daubach can advance one base and get the third with the 2 outs.
2 down. It brings up Jason Varitek, who is in the number 9 spot tonight. Varitek at .297, 5 homers and 20 runs driven in. Varitek in his 44th game tonight for the Red Sox of a possible 50. As the pitcher's in there for a high strike, Varitek did not agree.
Well, I'll say that's certainly a high strike.
Ooh, not good. Varitek just showed him with his hand on his chest above the Red Sox lettering where that was.
Well, that's okay. Just make sure Pedro gets the same pitch. And according to the new rule book, or the new strike zone, that is a strike. So's that.
And Varitek is quickly in the hole, 0-2. Varitek batting with Daubach at third, 2 down here in the second inning. Fouled off the left side. Veritek has really done the bulk of the catching this year, catching day games after night games. And has not really gotten much time off. Scott Hatteberg has been used for the bulk of the time as a pinch hitter. And of course, the Red Sox pinch hitting situation still without a hit this season. 0-for-25 in that category. And a strikeout for Mussina. The Red Sox are gone in the second, but not before they played 2 runs at the end of 2. It's 2-0 Boston.
Red Sox have the 2-0 lead after 2. Well, every game Pedro pitches is special, but tune in to NESN Sunday night for the Pedro Martinez story, a 1-hour front row special. He's on the mound tonight, but you can learn more about him off the mound Sunday. From the Dominican Republic to Red Sox Nation, follow the career of Fenway's flamethrower with the Pedro Martinez story, premiering Sunday night, June 3rd at 7, only on NESN.
2 innings done at Fenway. Red Sox on top 2-0. On to the third, and Scott Brocious leads it off. Takes strike 1 from Pedro, who has struck out 2 over the first 2 innings. He has walked 1 and given up just 1 hit. Paul O'Neill, who singled an inning ago, has the 1 Yankee hit so far tonight. On the outside corner. Well, the Cubs had yesterday off, and Scott Brocious, who is going to college from afar, spent yesterday in his room on a laptop finishing up an overdue term paper. He's 15 hours short of his business administration degree at Linfield College in Oregon. I imagine baseball every day might get in the way, and probably explains why his term paper is a little bit on the tardy side.
Take advantage of those off days, though, to catch up on some work.
Did you catch up with a lot yesterday?
I still have not started my 4 years yet.
Never too late. As Brocious, a check at first did not offer, and it's 1-2.
Brocious, one of those guys that's given Pedro some problems. 303 career batting average against Pedro with a homer.
Brocious, Soriano, and Knobloch expected in the inning. 8, 9, and 1. As Brocious strikes out. Third K for Martinez. He closed the second with a strikeout of Posada. Opens the third with a strikeout of Brocious.
Pedro with the high fastball. The strikeout Brocious. A couple of strikeouts tonight with the fastball. He got Jeter, and now Brocious. He got Posada after a long at bat with a curveball.
One down, and it brings up Soriano, the second baseman for the Yankees. 275 batting average so far for Alfonso Soriano. And that just misses to Soriano. Soriano appearing in his 50th game. He's been in them all so far for the Yankees. And he, like Shea Hillenbrand, has not walked much. The rookies have been very aggressive so far. He has walked 3 times so far in the year in his 193 at bats. Hillenbrand in his 194 at bats. Now with the 2 walks on the season. And in there for a strike, 2-1.
Soriano for that third walk. It was a bases loaded walk over the weekend against the Indians.
And there for the strike. Soriano doesn't like it, but the count is evened up at 2-2.
And the last time he faced Soriano with a couple of strikes, he'd go upstairs with the fastball and try to put him away.
Pedro is off the backside of the mound briefly in the midst of a meeting with himself. And back on top is Soriano taking some more time. Soriano, a 23-year-old rookie for the Yankees. And gone. Back-to-back Ks for Pedro Martinez, 4-all.
Well, it's the fastball again from Pedro, and again up and out of the strike zone. And Soriano, with a couple of strikes, has a very tough time laying off that pitch. Soriano has already struck out now 42 times this year to go along with only those 3 walks.
Now Chuck Knobloch will fly deeply to right his first time on what was a good running play for Trot Nixon back in the first inning against Pedro. 7 for 35 for Knobloch, who has found his home in left field a more pleasurable experience than his play at second base over the last year or so. And has settled into left field very well for the Yankees.
He's been tested out there, and he's got 6 assists, second in the league to Jose Guillen of Tampa Bay, who has 7.
Knobloch takes strike one, and it's 2-1. Knobloch was 0 for 2 with a walk on Monday. He was hit by a couple of pitches here against the Red Sox in the first game of the series as he lines this foul down the right field line. Knobloch, who does get hit quite a bit, has now been struck 7 times on the season. Pedro trying to rack up his 4th straight strikeout. The 2-2 pitch to Knobloch is up high, 3-2. It'll run full on Knobloch. Knobloch was hit 21 times in '99 as he waits on the payoff pitch. Now the 3-2 is in the air down the left field line. O'Leary ranging over. The wind's going to play with it. Troy ducking back into his left, and he brings it in. The Yankees are gone in order in the third. 2.5 done from Fenway. 2-0 Red Sox. Jose Offerman leads it off as we head now to the bottom of the third inning. Jose was a strikeout victim back in the first. One of 4 Ks orchestrated by Mike Mussina so far in his outing tonight. Offerman just a 175 hitter against Mussina, but not this time. Lines it into left to open up the third inning.
Look how close Brocious is playing at third base, protecting against a possible bunt down the third base line, and Jose Offerman with that line drive hit right over his head.
Oh my. As much fun as Bill Clinton had, I don't really think I'm all that interested, but flattered nevertheless.
Ooh.
Oh my. Nixon in on the left side. He also was a strikeout victim in the first. Mike Mussina struck out the side in that first inning. And it's dropped down the third base line. Brocious in time to get Nixon. Offerman to move up 90 feet to second. There's one down. Let's check in at the Nesson studio with Bob Rogers. Bob?
All right, Donnie. Well, the Indians' all-time home run leader, Jim Thome, at it again. Tall Jack, his 11th of the season, a 2-run blast. The Indians go out in front. 3-1 now in the Tigers. By the way, Juan Gonzalez not playing tonight. He has that sore foot. Back to you.
Thanks, Bob. Back here at Fenway Park. Carl Everett bats with one down and the runner at second base.
Well, you can see how managers feel about this pitching matchup, going to the sacrifice here in the bottom of the third inning. As Trot Nixon gets the job done and Offerman in scoring position.
Everett riding the 4-game hitting streak. And he takes it low, ball 1. Everett has been frustrated against Mussina now in the last 2 times out. 5 strikeouts for Carl against Mussina, who's really had his number as of late.
And you can see the frustration after that last at bat too by Everett. After the strikeout, the bat went for a distance, and so did the helmet.
Lines it to left. Knobloch hit it back. This is going to grab some wall up off the scoreboard. Offerman will come around and score. Throw to second, and Everett will be out there, but the run is in, and the Red Sox take the 3-0 lead. Everett bangs it in and picks up RBI number 26.
Well, Everett gets a look like a high changeup that time, and finally is able to make contact off Mussina, and good contact. The line drive, hard line drive off the scoreboard. Look at Knobloch, played this barehanded, gets it into second base and picks up his 7th assist of the season. That ties him for first with Guillen.
How do you explain the fact that he can throw from the outfield so accurately and have so many problems at second base as he did over the last year?
No time to think about it. Picks the ball up and just fires it.
Don't think, just throw being the theory there.
Second base, it seemed like every time he got a ground ball, he was thinking about that throw to first base, and more times than not would throw it away. Had no problems playing catch prior to a game or an infield practice. Outfield, everything he throws from the outfield is hard. At second base, sometimes you just aim the ball at first base, and when you start that, that's when you have problems.
The 0-1 to Manny backs him out of the way, and it evens up at 1-1. Was reached in the second, but it was by way of an error committed by Scott Brocious at third base. Late cut from Ramirez, 1-2. Oakland pounding Tampa Bay today, 15-2. Look at the AL scoreboard and schedule. One and two to Ramirez in the dirt. Bounces off Posada. Got a big piece of Jorge. And kicked off to his right.
It looked like right off his right shoulder. Bounces the knuckle curve.
Two and two to Ramirez. And then he taking his time getting back in there, getting comfortable and settled again. And then he fouls it off. He's not looked particularly happy after a lot of the cuts that he's taken over the last couple games. A little bit frustrated that he's not been able to handle some of the pitches. Mussina again with the kick and the 2-2. Popped up foul. Back here, got a chance. Nope, above us. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. No runs, a hit, and an error for the Yankees. Again, the 2-2. Foul down the right field line. That'll get up towards the skybox area. Running a good distance from the batter's box, working over the gloves, and now head back towards the batter's box again. Ramirez has played in every game so far for the Red Sox and has been used in the same capacity, of course, at DH every day. With interleague play really looming now and getting more and more close. Towards that time that Jimmy Williams may have to use him, he certainly would not lose his bat in interleague, so you imagine he'd be out there. When is the question as he turns on this, sends it towards the moon, but it is well fouled. Still 2-2. He has fouled off a bevy of Mike Mussina offerings. And we're back out again. It's become a pretty good battle here between Mike Mussina and Manny Ramirez. And Manny gets a piece again, stays tough. The 9th pitch of the at-bat. Number 10 will be coming up here from Mussina with the count still 2-2. Nothing else he has upped the pitch count for Mike Mussina, who's had to work pretty hard in the 2nd and in the 3rd innings after striking out the Red Sox in succession in the 1st inning. In the air to right field. O'Neill is headed back. It'll stay in the yard as he makes the catch onto the track in right to retire the side. Manny gives it a ride, but he's retired. So are the Red Sox. They get a run in the 3rd, lead at 3-0 at the end of 3. Through 3 innings at Fenway, 3-0 Red Sox on top so far. Time now for the Aflac trivia question. What Red Sox pitcher had 5 wins against the Yankees back in 1974? We'll have the answer for you next half inning. I apologize, we missed the quack. The faster I go from Aflac trivia question right into the question, the less time Jerry has for the quack. Thank you. I have the answer for you next half inning as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Red Sox got 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd.
What the heck is this?
Pouring here out of nowhere.
Passing shower.
There is one cloud, or a couple of clouds, as I look up now, that is rather ominous that has led to this precipitation. That's Derek Jeter leads it off and takes a strike from Pedro Martinez. I do think this is passing. 225 career for Derek Jeter against Pedro. But it is raining quite hard at this moment as Jeter takes ball, and it's 1-1. The wind is still blowing hard, so it is really a swirling rain right now, kind of a driving rain. In the air down the line and right. Nixon will head back towards the corner, and Trot brings it in. 1 away. An adventure, especially in that direction with the wind just peltering out towards right. He was dealing with wind and rain.
Yeah, it really is. All kind of conditions out here now. The wind blowing out toward that area. The rain in the face of the fielder trying to make a play. And again, you can see that ball got a push by that strong wind blowing out toward the right field tonight. And hold your breath on everything that's hit down in that direction.
One away, and it brings up David Justice, who struck out back in the 1st inning. Justice hitting at just 160 in his career against Pedro Martinez. The bulk of those numbers coming when Justice was a member of the Cleveland Indians. And their first strike, and Pedro's ahead of him, 0-2. Pedro has 4 strikeouts over the first 3 and a 3rd innings. 1 hit, a walk, and no one for the Yankees has reached second base as of yet. Outside, framed by Veritek. Rain continues to come down here hard at Fenway Park. A 1-2 in the dirt. Veritek sliding to his right. As we look up over the Pro in that direction, it is clear over there, but there are some rather dark, ominous clouds off to our left.
Changeable skies, Don, they call that. Changeable skies.
Meaning changeable conditions, I would imagine, as well.
Hopefully won't be interrupted. You don't want to have that when Pedro's on the mound.
Strikes out Justice for the 2nd time tonight. Pedro picks up strikeout number 5.
Got Justice twice, once with the fastball, and the most recent strikeout with the changeup.
Number 51.
And you can see Justice reaching for that pitch, no contact. That's the last thing they want to have happen now is have to cover the field and have a delay for Pedro.
Pedro has now retired 6 Yankees in a row. Will go after Bernie Williams with 2 down. Williams, the recipient of strike 1. Williams walked his first time. One of 2 Yankees to have reached base in this ballgame so far. And the only walk that Pedro has issued in the ballgame.
Notice after the last strikeout at Jeter, the Red Sox did not throw the ball around the infield. They threw it right back to Pedro. They want to make sure they get 5 innings in here.
The 1-1 to Williams is up and in. Missed by much, and it's 2-1. Well, it has started really to subside here quite a bit. After what was relatively hard rain, it has lightened up significantly, not above us in terms of the clouds, but the rain is not nearly as hard as it was a moment ago. 2-1 to Williams, up and in, sends him hopping up into the air, and he's ahead 3-1. Williams, originally signed by the Yankees as a non-drafted free agent. In the first 3 years of his career in the minors, he batted just on the right side. The switch hitter now takes the strike, and it's 3-2.
2 at-bats for Bernie and 2 very long at-bats against Pedro. Drew the walk back in the 2nd inning.
Pedro with 5 strikeouts. Make it 6. Strikes out Bernie Williams. Back-to-back Ks for Pedro. The Yankees are gone in the 4th. 3.5 done from Fenway. 3-0 Red Sox. Welcome back to Fenway. Small technical problem. It was not a wrap. We'll try to fix that. And back here at Fenway Park, where the Red Sox have the 3-0 lead. Take a look at the summary of the ballgame. Back in the 2nd inning, Brian Daubach with a double. Ground rule double. 1 hopped up into the bullpen. And the Red Sox plated 2 with Ramirez and O'Leary scoring. Red Sox would add another run in the 3rd inning. And the numbers by the pitchers. Mussina, 4 innings to 3 runs. Both pitchers have struck out 6, but Pedro just the 1 hit. And no runs so far relinquished by the right-hander. And now to the top of the 5th inning from Fenway. Tino Martinez, Paul O'Neill, and Jorge Posada to face Pedro. The first one is in there for strike 1. Tino Martinez had the misfortune of grounding into a double play in the 2nd inning. And is now down 0-2. 22 hitter against Pedro. We're hitting at .289 for the year for the Yankees coming into tonight's contest. And strikes out. Pedro struck out 3 in a row. That's punch out number 7 for Martinez.
Well, Pedro well on his way to another 10 strikeout game here for the Red Sox. Again, it's the fastball. Pedro with an excellent fastball tonight, and Tino very late on that fastball. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the strikeouts coming with the fastball tonight. 1 with a curve, 1 with a changeup.
Paul O'Neill has the only hit that the Yankees have put together so far tonight. His single to center was in the 2nd inning. His 2nd at bat begins with the pitch down and in.
I think Paul Carroll's had an ample time to answer that question.
I think the buzzer has gone off. As in, over. Game over. Wait a minute. He's had something handed to us. And he's got some answers here, it appears. In the air to center. The wind will play with it, but Everett camped underneath. As a little dance comes on, and retired is Paul O'Neill. 2 down in the 5th.
Well, the question was, the last Red Sox no-hit, they Moorhead at Fenway, September 16th of 1965. The losing pitcher was Louis Tion. He got that right. The first baseman was Lee Thomas, who now is assistant general manager for the Red Sox. He got that correct. He has a ground out back to Moorhead, who threw to Thomas. I have it as a bunt.
But it could have been bunted back.
Right.
And thrown to first to Thomas. So there's some gray area there that we don't have a definitive answer to, but close enough. Mussina just 091 against Pedro as he struck out his first time. 7 strikeouts for Pedro.
Did he list who the bunter was?
No.
It was Vic Davalillo.
He wasn't very specific. I think there's some concern over the length of time in which it took, I think, also.
Well, I think he gets a failure on that one. He's got all the books available to him and everything, and he got it almost right.
The 2-0 delivery to Posada, fouled back to the backstop, and it's 2-1. Pedro has now retired 9 Yankees in a row. On a cool night here tonight at Fenway Park. And it's 3-1 now to Posada. Jorge Posada, who spent a good amount of time in the minor leagues, coming into his own over the last couple of years. 30 years of age is Posada. Originally a 24th round pick by the Yankees in 1990. Career high 28 home runs last year. The everyday catcher for the first time for the Yankees. After Joe Girardi went elsewhere, splitting the time prior to that, with Posada being the everyday guy, as he is again this year. Got his run full to him, 3-2. Crowd reared and ready to go for strikeout number 8 for Pedro. He's got 7 so far. And the payoff pitch. Fouled back. Pedro coming into the contest with 108 Ks. He's up that in progress to 115. The next closest, Barry Zito, with 73, representing the Oakland A's. Good bit of distance between the two. The 3-2 is a call, strike 3. Posada doesn't like it, but he'll bring with him the 8th strikeout for Pedro Martinez. In order again go the Yankees halfway through the ballgame. 3-0 Boston. Red Sox on top here, 3-0 as we get ready for the top of the 6th inning. Pedro Martinez retired the last 10 Yankees in a row, and the umpires just went into the Red Sox dugout. The first base umpire, Ted Barrett, and Mike Winters. Not sure what that was about, but they were in there for a little bit.
Maybe he had to go to the bathroom.
Both of them together?
Maybe the other guy went to find out where he was. It's taking so long.
Scott Brocious will lead it off. Pedro Martinez having a great night tonight, and very much looking forward to seeing the front row special on Sunday night as we get a much different look at Pedro. Grounded through the left side off the bat of Brocious, and he's aboard to begin things in the 6th. Breaks up a string of 10 in a row retired by Martinez.
Well, we told you about Brocious being a problem for Pedro, hitting .303 coming into the game, 1 for 2 tonight. After the strikeout in the 3rd, Brocious jumps on the first pitch, the curveball, and picks up the base hit.
Alfonso Soriano.
So Brocious is at first. Soriano in his brief career, rookie this season, 0 for 7 in his at-bats against Pedro. No, very much looking forward to that front row special. It's going to be a great thing. We see Pedro here every day, but the chance to really see what behind the scenes is like for Pedro Martinez. And of course, a couple of years ago, and the Red Sox, actually last year, they're in the Dominican. Some of the footage be used on Sunday night from Pedro in his homeland, which will be fun to watch as well. Brocious at first. Soriano waiting on the 0-1. Down the line and right. The wind knocking it towards the stands, and that's where it will end up, about 8 rows deep.
Now, will that be on again? Because I won't get a chance to see that Sunday. I'll be in New York.
A couple more times after that, yes. You will miss the big premiere, but there will be encore presentations following.
I'm anxious to get back to New York. I want to know what Giuliani's up to now. See if he's fired his wife again or more of the staff. I think he did fire more of the staff.
It's killing you not to know.
We'll know Sunday night.
Soriano down to the count, 0-2. And the pitch down low, 1-2.
Last time in New York, too, Al Sharpton announced that he was going to run for president. But he is now in jail in Puerto Rico, right?
It's one of those things, you know. It may be a mark on his record. Is he really in jail? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he's starting a hunger strike until they get him out.
Pitch is outside and low, and it's 2-2. Soriano comes in at 275 and is hitting 9th in the Yankees order. Red Sox infield a double play depth with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Way outside and low, 3-2.
I think it'd be a little surprising to see Brocious run here. Soriano, a guy that does strike out a lot. And, of course, the Yankees down by 3. They are a running team. And they haven't been able to generate much offense tonight against Pedro.
Martinez has thrown 77 pitches as he works here in the 6th inning with nobody out. Deeper than he probably would want to be at this part of the game, and that is going to hit Soriano.
No, he's out. Hit the bat.
Deflecting into the glove of Veritek, and he was quick to hop up and point it out to Mike Wittens, who went along with him. It'll be strikeout number 9 for Pedro. Joe Torre does not agree.
Take another look at it on replay. Joe Torre obviously arguing that call, but it might have hit the barrel of the bat just below the hands of Soriano. Soriano reached up to get out of the way. And the umpire made the call right away. Take another look from the side. This might be difficult to see here. Tough to tell. Really can't. Hard to tell from both angles.
But the hand so low on the bat as well.
Now there, it didn't look like it hit the bat on the overhead shot. Unless it just got toward the end of the bat.
Soriano now 0 for 8 against Pedro, and Pedro's racked up 9 Ks. Chuck Knobloch, who has not struck out. He and Derek Jeter, who was on deck, the only members of the starting 9 tonight for the Yankees who have not struck out in the ball game. But Knobloch does have the misfortune of going 0 for 2 tonight, flying out to right and to left. The ball in the air on 2 occasions. And a good fastball by Knobloch, 1-1. See the strikeout leaders we talked about a little while ago. Big jump after Barry Zito up to Pedro Martinez, who now with his most recent production here tonight, 117 strikeouts on the season.
And Rogers been piling them up recently, up to 71 now.
He jumps ahead of Knobloch, 1-2. Pedro has 76 career 10 strikeout or more games. He ranks 6th all time in that category. Steve Carlton is 5th. And Ryan, the all-time leader, 215 10K or plus career games. And Pedro in line perhaps to get his 77th. He's a strikeout away. And a strike away. The 1-2. Outside. Crowd wanted it. Pedro wanted it, and so did Veritek, but it's 2-2.
Well, after making the call on Soriano, maybe the umpire a little reluctant to ring Knobloch up on that pitch.
The 2-2 pitch to Knobloch. Long pause. And he misses 3-2. The 11th time that Pedro started a game this season. And of course the 6-1 record, a 1.60 earned run average, which has done nothing but go down with the no runs through 5 1/3 innings posted by the Yankees so far tonight. On the ground right side. Could be tough for double play. Offerman will get one. No, he'll get none. He pulls Valentin off the bag towards the outfield side with the toss. Instead of at least getting one, they get none, and there's 2 on with 1 away.
That ball just slipped right out of the hand of Jose Offerman. You could see as soon as he released it, it was not going to be anywhere close to second base. He's trying to get the lead runner. He had time to get him at second base, but the throw nowhere near the mark, and a big break there for the Yankees. Of course, the easy thing to say is we'll go to first and get the shore out, but he did have time to get the lead runner at second base. Hoffman picks up his 7th error of the season.
The first error committed behind Pedro Martinez tonight. The Yankees had committed an earlier error in the ball game, so 1 for either side. Derek Jeter, 0 for 2 tonight, has bounced back to the mound and fly to the track and right. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Jeter. Derek Jeter, former first-round pick by the Yankees, 6th overall back in 1992. Reached the Yankees in 95. Rookie of the year in 96. 4 rings in 5 years as he fouls it off the foot and is down 0-2. Getting into last year for Derek Jeter, into the 2000 season, 25 years of age. He had already won 3 championships in his first full 4 seasons. Only 2 former Yankee players had done the same at a younger age. Mantle at 21, DiMaggio at 23. Now Jeter, of course, 4 rings in 5 years, and he's still just 26 years of age. The 0-2. Pedro's got 10 in the ball game. 10 strikeouts for Pedro. Big punch out of Derek Jeter. 2 down in the 6th.
Once again, it's the fastball doing the honors for Pedro. Pedro's got a great fastball in this ball game tonight. And it looks like he's elevating against these Yankee hitters when he gets a couple of strikes on him. Up above the belt. Jeter, a very tough guy to strike out. Only the 26th time this year he has gone down.
So now everybody in the Yankees order has struck out once with the exception of Chuck Knobloch, the leadoff hitter. He's at first base. Scott Brosier's at second. 2 down in the 6th. David Justice has struck out twice tonight. And takes strike 1. He swings and misses. And Veritek will head out to talk to Pedro.
Pedro may be telling Veritek just what he wants to do here with Justice. He struck him out twice, once with a fastball, and then the changeup in the 4th inning.
Bad swing from Justice, who is fooled, and he's down 0-2.
That looked like the cut fastball down and in.
Fenway crowd coming to their feet. Pedro has struck out 10 so far, and he's ahead of Justice 0-2. The Yankees with their first base runner at second base of the game. with runners at first and second and 2 down. Just a piece for David Justice. Justice has struck out 37 times on the year and twice tonight. A sign from Veritek, and now they want to talk it over.
Veritek will probably find out what he wants to throw and then go back, not even put down a sign.
This is the second meeting that they have had in this at bat and how to deal with David Justice, and Pedro has done what appears to be the bulk of the talking. And the Pedro chair goes up at Fenway. The 0-2 pitch on the ground toward short. Valentin bobbles it, stays with it. The good throw, and the Yankees are gone in the 6th. Valentin stuck with it. Retires Justice. No runs for the Yankees in the 6th. No runs for the Yankees in the game. 3-0 Boston at the end of 5 1/2. Last of the 6th inning. Trot Nixon, Carl Everett, and Manny Ramirez, the expected hitters in the 6th inning. Nixon 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt and takes ball 1 from Mussina. The rain has subsided here at Fenway Park. We've had a couple of light showers that have come and gone, but still a chilly night here at Fenway with a hard breeze from left to right across the outfield that has been present with us the entire game. Mussina has struck out 8 through the first 5 innings, rendering the 3 runs the Red Sox have. Has not walked anyone through the first 5 innings and has now retired 7 Red Sox hitters in a row as he begins work here in the last of the 6th inning. Popped up. Right side of the infield for Alfonso Soriano. Had the wind play with it, but puts it away. And there's 1 down. Time now to hit the net. James Carlson from Tewksbury, Massachusetts. Jerry wants to know about the blowing on your hand rules for pitchers in regards to weather, etc. What are the rules?
I think it's under the discretion of the umpire, depending on how cool or cold it is at the ballpark. And obviously, on a night like this, they allow the pitcher to blow on his hand. Now, you can blow on your hand, but you can't go to your mouth. If you go to your mouth with your fingers, that's a ball. So you can blow on the hand if you get permission from the umpire, but you still cannot go to your, wet your fingers with your mouth. They'll call a ball. Not while you're on the mound.
So there's never a time that you can go to your mouth.
No.
Like there is sometimes, like tonight on the cold night, when you can blow in your hand.
Well, you can go to your mouth when you're off the mound, but you got to wipe it off.
1-1 the count.
Just ask Gaylord Perry about those rules.
Yeah. A 1-1 pitch. That would be a question for another time, as well, maybe now. What's the difference in a type pitch that does, I guess, the spitball, as it was known at the time? I mean, what kind of difference does that make on the ball?
On a spitball?
Yeah.
Oh,
large?
Yeah, quite a bit. It's like no rotation on the baseball at all. You just don't know if it's going to drop, go away, or in.
Everett has struck out again 4 times last time out against Mussina, and twice tonight. A hit mixed in between tonight. But strikeout number 9 for Mike Mussina.
Well, again, he gets Carl Everett. Of course, Everett had a big hit on him back in the 3rd inning. He's really had problems. It's 6 strikeouts in the last 2 games against Mussina. But he does have that big base hit to the opposite field and driving a run in the 3rd inning. So you kind of exchange those strikeouts sometimes for that 1 hit to drive in a run.
Ramirez reached on an error in the second. He flied deeply to right in the third. 0 for 2 tonight and 0 for his last 10. There's Manning again in the air to right. Again Paul O'Neill over to make the catch, and the Red Sox are retired in the sixth. The third straight inning that they've been down in order. 10 in a row. Retired by Mike Mussina. Done with 6. 3-0 Red Sox. Cold night here tonight at Fenway. Is Tommy Harper got the cold hands. Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and Paul O'Neill, expected batters in the 7th inning for the Yankees, who trail 3-0 as we head to the visiting half of the 7th. Bernie Williams walking in the 2nd, striking out in the 4th inning. And taking strike 1 from Pedro. Yankees have collected just 2 hits so far in the contest. Paul O'Neill in the 2nd. Scott Brocious an inning ago in the 6th inning. A walk and an error also has led to base runners. Williams with a flare out towards shallow left. Valentin out. O'Leary in. O'Leary on the run makes the catch, and there's 1 down.
Well, that was an easy time for Pedro. There were only 2 pitches to Bernie Williams. Usually Bernie's up there for at least 10. Got him on a fastball this time. Little pop up, but Troy O'Leary got a great jump on it. He'll call off Valentin and get the first out here in the 7th.
Tino Martinez, the hitter, grounded into a double play in the 2nd. Struck out in the 5th. Martinez, 33 years of age, and takes a pitch outside. Ball 1. Originally drafted by the Red Sox in the 3rd round in '85, but obviously did not sign. 3 years later was a first-round pick by the Mariners in 1988. Tino Martinez was traded from Seattle to New York in December of '95 with Jeff Nelson and Jim Mussina for Sterling Hitchcock and third baseman Russ Davis at the time. Fouls it off the left side and is down 1-2. Blown play by a fan up there in the sky boxes. The 1-2 is fouled off the end of the bat by Tino Martinez. He's always productive, but was most productive, kind of a neat note, between 95 and 99. He drove in 587 runs. Only Mark McGwire with 600 RBIs was the only other first baseman to drive in more runs in the same time span. Keep in mind that Mo Vaughn was operating during that time as well as some other great quality first basemen, both the AL and the NL. But Tino Martinez, the most productive during 95 through 99. Has not been productive tonight. 0 for 2. Now the 2-2 from Pedro. Fouled off again. Martinez shaking off a couple of signs from Varitek, and it took far too long for Martinez, Tino Martinez anyway, to back out. And the breaking ball gets him. Martinez goes down looking. 11 strikeouts for Pedro. 2 down in the 7th inning.
Take a look at the pitch sequence in that at bat. You're going to see 3 straight fastballs, but different types. The first one going away, that's the cut fastball, then the cross seamer. Then Pedro's going to come with a changeup that's fouled off. Back to the fastball, another fastball, and for the first curve in this at bat, he'll pick up the strikeout.
2 down in the 7th, and Paul O'Neill coming up. I like that pitch sequence. O'Neill has singled to center and flied out to center field. 1 for 2 as he takes strike 1 from Pedro.
It's interesting. The first 3 pitches to Tino were all fastballs, but 3 different types. Sinking fastball, a cut fastball, and the cross seam fastball. So 3 different looks on the same pitch.
And it's 1-1 now to Paul O'Neill. Pedro just up over the century mark. 102 pitches in his outing here tonight.
Whoa, don't get tight now.
Pedro has retired 4 Yankees in a row. 2 down here in the 7th inning. And the 2-1 to O'Neill. In the air to left, struck pretty well. O'Leary headed back, but that's going to be up off the wall. Quickly, O'Leary gathers it, and O'Neill will be held to just the 2-out single.
Well, the Yankees with 3 hits in the game, and O'Neill with 2 of those hits. The first one to center field on a curveball. This time he'll take Pedro's fastball off that tin in left field. O'Neill much more aggressive the last couple of games and paying off in base hits. Right off the scoreboard. O'Leary backhand back into second base and holds O'Neill to the single.
It's interesting to see how teams go about attacking Pedro. They know it's never going to be easy, but some teams who are patient with him, hoping that he'll go deep into counts. Other teams are more aggressive. And sometimes it depends on the individual player, as Daubach will take it alone. Posada is gone, and so are the Yankees in the 7th. 7th inning stretch time for Fenway. Still 3-0 Red Sox.
7 complete. Red Sox lead by 3. Remind you, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Boston Red Sox may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox.
They love Nesson. They love Jerry Remy. Standing in to begin things here in the top of the 8th inning. Now they just love Jerry. Scott Brocious, Alfonso Soriano, and Chuck Knobloch here in the 8th. Chopped by the mound. Offerman on to Daubach, and there's 1 down. $33,711 on hand here tonight. It is the highest attendance this season. 24th sellout for the Red Sox and the 21st consecutive sellout for the Red Sox. Again, 33,711, the highest number of the season. You see the action in the Red Sox bullpen.
Batting for Soriano, number 45, Henry Rodriguez. Rodriguez now batting.
Henry Rodriguez will pinch hit for Alfonso Soriano, who had been 0 for 8 in his career against Pedro. 0 for 2 tonight with a pair of strikeouts. And Rodriguez pinch hitting here in the 8th with 1 down and no one on.
2 for 5 in his career against Pedro. They've hooked up a couple of times in the National League.
Quickly in the hole, 0-2. Pedro has rendered just 3 hits so far tonight. 2 to Paul O'Neill, 1 to Brocious. He is 0-2 to Rodriguez. Up and away, 1-2. Rodriguez making an appearance in just his 3rd game of the year for the Yankees. Spent some time in the minor leagues this year to get ready. And Columbus, as he strikes out, 12th strikeout for Pedro Martinez. 2 down in the 8th.
Pedro puts him away with the changeup as they keep putting up those Ks.
Number 11, the left fielder.
Fastballs to get ahead and the changeup to put him away. This has been a big-time performance tonight by Pedro Martinez.
So the pinch hitter Rodriguez is gone, and he takes with him the 12th strikeout of the night for Martinez. Chuck Knobloch swinging and missing. Knobloch has flied to right, to left, and reached last time on the error. Red Sox lone error of the night. Pops it up. Foul off first. Knobloch over by the dugout. Not out of the play. Landing on the roof, well out of his reach. Went as far as he could.
As that wind again probably having an effect on that pop-up, pushing it out of play. Now listen to the crowd now. They want another punch-out.
Looking for lucky number 13 as they come to their feet at Fenway. Knobloch has not yet struck out tonight. Lines it into right center field. Will it hang up? No. It falls in front of Everett, who plays it on the hop. Looked like for a moment it may stay up. But Knobloch has collected the Yankees' 4th hit. Comes with 2 down in the 8th.
There have been many mistakes tonight, and here Pedro on an 0-2 count right down the middle of the plate. And Knobloch able to hit the line. Knobloch was looking straight up, almost like he popped it up. It was a line drive to right center field.
I guess against Pedro, you expect to pop it up.
I would expect to strike out myself.
Derek Jeter 0 for 3. Jeter has grounded out, flied out, and has struck out. Bring them on, and Jimmy Williams talking it over. Jeter thought about it, holds off, and takes ball 2. He's ahead 2-0. Pedro at the 116 pitch count mark. The Red Sox with double-barreled action in their bullpen. Fouled straight back off the bat of Jeter. 2-1. Garces and Rod Beck have been up since the beginning of the inning.
They would be up for the 8th, and I would imagine Lowe would be up for the 9th.
Hierarchy looking on here in the 8th. Jeter fouls it off over by the Yankee dugout and deuces a wild on the scoreboard and left. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And again, the Fenway faithful coming to their feet. They've been up at different times all night as Pedro has chalked up 12 strikeouts over the first 7 2/3 innings. Stares into Veritek to find out what he'll throw. Looks like the 1. 2-2 the count. Low, and it's 3-2. If Jeter can get on to prolong the inning, David Justice would be next.
Last ball away, it looks like.
Sets up outside, and Jeter gets a piece.
That's how we got Jeter last time to strike him out up in the zone. That time Jeter fouling it off.
And with the full count and 2 down, you can expect Knobloch to be off. As he gains his lead again at first, Knobloch behind him. Veritek again off the outside corner, and they strike him out. 13 Ks for Pedro. He's pumped. And the Red Sox with a 3-0 lead at the end of 7.5. Welcome back to Fenway Park, where the Red Sox have the 3-0 lead over the Yankees.
We'll stay with Nesson after the game for a review of tonight's Sixers-Bucks NBA playoff game, a review of today's French Open tennis, and a complete look around Major League Baseball. That's ESPN News immediately following Red Sox baseball live on Nesson. Is anybody going to beat the Lakers?
I don't think so.
They may not lose a game.
No. Well, the Red Sox had 3 men on and could not, hopefully it doesn't come back to bite him. They could not score. Derek Lowe is on as we head to the 9th.
21st appearance for Lowe, the second of this series. He worked an inning on Monday, allowing 1 hit. Lowe with the 4 saves on the season. And he'll be facing Justice, Bernie Williams, and Tino Martinez here in the top of the 9th inning. Fans not happy Pedro's out, but we clearly saw him going to the dugout after the 8th inning, up the runway. Over 120 pitches in the game, and plus a long layoff last inning. So even if they had been thinking about maybe bringing him back with that long inning, maybe not.
He'd throw 121 pitches tonight, 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs. He walked 1. And he struck out 13 New York Yankees tonight.
I'd say he did his part.
I would say so. Justice showing bunt. Grabbed the attention of Shea Hillenbrand for no other reason, and it is 1-0 to Justice against Lowe, 2 for 10. Justice is 0 for 3 tonight, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Of course, that work against Pedro Martinez. Derek Lowe falls behind 2-0. Up and away, 3-0 now to Justice. He's able to get the strike over, 3-1. Derek Lowe has had a nightmare or 2 against the Yankees this year, especially as he gets the strike over. This the loss back on April 22nd at Yankee Stadium when David Justice able to win the game. And the 2 home runs rendered that game by Derek Lowe to O'Neill and to Justice. If anybody gets on in the inning, he will be facing Paul O'Neill again. The 3-2 is fouled off. Yankees skipper hoping for some drama here in the 9th for New York. Soft roller, foul down the first base line. From the stretch with no one on, the payoff pitch is swung on and missed. He comes back to get him. Derek Lowe is down 3-0, and he strikes out David Justice. The 14th K of the night for Red Sox pitching, but a big one for Derek Lowe to start his outing.
Now that changes the attitude of the fans here at Fenway here in the 9th inning. They were getting a little upset when the count ran to 3-0, and looked like Justice there may have helped him out by swinging at ball 4. Lowe battles back to the 3-2 count, a couple of foul balls, and then the strikeout.
Now Bernie Williams, who walked in the 2nd inning, the only walk that Pedro Martinez surrendered over the first 8 innings. His career against Lowe, 444 as he takes the pitch down and in. After Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and again, if anybody gets on, Paul O'Neill will get a crack as Williams fouls it off now by the shoe tops, and it's 1-1. Red Sox had Garces and Rod Beck up first, then Beck and Lowe, and as we moved here to the 9th, it was just Derek Lowe. The Yankees have action again in their bullpen. Lefty Ted Lilly, who has been in the rotation, is up and warming in the bullpen. 1-1 is swung on and foul tip. Gets a piece of Veritek. 1-2. The Yankees winning game 1 of this brief 2-game series. Red Sox trying to gain a split in the series. And a very defensive swing and a good foul off by Bernie Williams.
Talk about staying alive. Wow. This curveball's almost by Bernie Williams when he makes contact. And just barely fouls it off to stay alive. That got the ugly swing of the night.
Lowe shakes off one. Now he's ready with the 1-2 pitch. Little pop-up that will drop into shallow center field. A flare off the bat of Williams, but he's aboard, and the Yankees have a base runner in the 9th with 1 down.
Well, Lowe comes right back with the curveball, and this time a better swing by Bernie Williams. Didn't exactly crush it, but drops it into center field for the base hit.
Number 24, the first baseman, Tino Martinez.
And I guess after the ugly swing of the night, you'll take that.
Kept him alive, gave him a chance to do that.
Yep.
As Tino Martinez 0 for 3, has grounded into a double play and has struck out on 2 occasions. A .222 career hitter against Derek Lowe. And the first one misses. Lowe has been behind each of the hitters that he has faced so far. Struck out Justice and then Bernie Williams with the base hit. Up and away, 2-0.
Well, the way that O'Neill has been swinging the bat in this series, you don't want to see him coming to the plate as the tying run.
And Lowe saw the arrival of Kerrigan out of the dugout and seemed to kind of throw the arms out a little bit as if to say, I'm all right here. And is listening to Kerrigan as Joe talks to him here with 1 down. So the conference is broken up. No one is warming in the bullpen right now. This is Derek Lowe's ball game to finish out at this point with 1 out and 1 on. Lowe trying to wrap up his 5th save of the year. In there for the strike, and it's 2-1. In the air to the left. Down in towards the corners. O'Leary is over and under, and he makes the catch. 2 down in the 9th. Williams will work his way back to the bag at first.
Well, maybe the message from Joe Kerrigan was throw those sinkers. And I prefer to see O'Neill coming to the plate not as the tying run, the way he has swung the bat.
O'Neill, of course, with a home run here on Monday. His career against Lowe, a .333 hitter. Home run was not off Derek Lowe on Monday, but at Yankee Stadium. Runner at first goes as O'Neill fouls it off the left side. Williams was in motion.
The Red Sox playing back. They're not even holding on. Bernie Williams with the 3-run lead. Daubach way behind him. Trying to get the last out of the ball game.
The 0-1 pitch, Williams off again, and it misses low, and Williams will get second base uncontested or defensive indifference, 1-1. Fouled off, and O'Neill is down to his last strike, which will likely bring the 33,711 to their feet at Fenway. Red Sox trying to shut out the New York Yankees. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Derek Lowe strikes out Paul O'Neill to end the ball game. And the Red Sox do indeed shut out the Yankees as they win it 3-0. Lowe will pick up save number 5 of the year as he racks up 2 strikeouts in the 9th. The Yankees leave a man on in the inning as Pedro Martinez will pick up win number 7. Pedro and Derek Lowe combine on the 5-hitter and the shutout here tonight at Fenway Park, and they gain a split of the brief 2-game series against the Yankees. And they wrap up this homestand. Will head off now to Toronto. The important games will continue for Jimmy Williams and the Red Sox, but a fine victory here tonight for Pedro, who has beaten the Yankees. Martinez betters his record to 7-1. Mike Mussina, the tough luck loser, 5-5. And Derek Lowe comes on to get his 5th save of the year. Red Sox win it by a score of 3-0.